are watching Channel Adrian TV.
Yo, YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, wherever you are listening or watching this. Welcome to another early morning and late nights. As you see from this title, this one's going to be a little bit of motivational and educational. And from the title, we're going to talk about how bringing the wrong person in your life can mess up everything. The wrong person in your circle, or being around the wrong people. And it could be from a good angle, and it could also be from a bad angle. And you may be saying to yourself, well, how can it be both? I'll get into that. But first, let me just start with the basics before we get deeper into that of what I mean. If you're determined and have certain goals, and then on top of that, say you're going to school, have a full-time job, your time is going to be limited, and it's especially going to be limited if you want to stay in shape. So with that said, you can't afford to have people come into your life or hang around people that's going to deter you from your goals and everything you want to accomplish. Now, whenever people hear things like this, the first thing that comes to mind is people saying you need to cut people off if they're the wrong crowd. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you have to put priority over things you want in life, and if people don't align with them, you can either compartmentalize their friendship and hang out with them whenever you can, or you can decide that friendship isn't worth it to where you're going to go to where you just stop hanging out with them. And I know that part might be harsh for some people, but that's just how it is. And in the real world, in real life situations, in real time, you have to be able to decipher, understand, and process all of these things. Because especially if no one ever taught it to you, you have to be able to see the signs. And that's why for me, if I am around any type of dead weight or anything I feel that's holding me back, I immediately cut it off. Because you gotta think about it. A lot of times I'm dropping 2 videos a day. I'm working over 40 hours a week. I have to commute to my job there and back, going to the gym, tracking calories, working out, running, washing clothes, preparing for FanDuel, doing my FanDuel lineups. Because as you see, I do make good money from FanDuel, but you still got to study and you still got to do the process. So a lot of my time is taken up. So I don't have any time to bring people in my life that's going to hold me back or be around the wrong crowd or wrong circle. Now, one thing about me is I can pull myself away from somebody even if I see they're going a way that I don't want to go. I'll remove myself. And that's more what I was referring to where it could be a bad thing. Let me use the biggest example. If my friend wants to be a simp in his relationship, more power to him, because if that's what he has to do to keep his relationship, that's what he has to do. I just got to step away from that, because I'm not going to be able to take you serious as a man. And then number 2, I'm going to laugh at you. And then from that point on, we'll probably just get into a fight. So me understanding that, I can break myself away. And that's what I mean. It can be good or bad. You just got to understand what the situation is, and you just got to understand who you are as a person. And if that right there is too cutthroat for you, I hate to break it to you, men, women, whoever's listening to this, you're going to have a long road and you got a lot to learn, because these decisions, if you're able to make them, your life is going to be 10 times better. You're going to be 10 times ahead of people in life, because that right there is what keeps and holds people back. Like, for example, let's just say if I'm in a bad relationship or bad marriage, if I have to sleep in my car for 2 years, work 2 dead-end jobs to get to where I want to get out of this situation, I'm willing to do that. And the only way you're willing to do that is when you can understand and analyze a situation and understand, okay, this isn't good for me. I need to do whatever I need to do to get out of this situation. If I have to go 5 steps back to get out of this situation, I'll do that, because at the end of the day, you can always make money. There's always a gas station, there's always a McDonald's, there's always a Walmart. You may just have to lie on your application if you have a college degree. But other than that, there always will be a lower end job that you can at least get to start making money. And that's why a catchphrase a lot of people do say is protecting their peace. A lot of people say that, but they're not practicing that. So I advise all of you to implement this in your life and understand. This is why, honestly, I never really gotten fat. This is why I never gotten into drugs. This is why I never got in an abusive relationship with any woman that I've dated or been in a relationship with. It's because I understand how to cut people out of my life that I know that's going to bring everything down, or being around the wrong crowd. Or I can understand if I've dated women who came from a single household, and I could see their mother had all the bad traits, and I could see where this relationship would go, where she would try to persuade her daughter. I could see that. And if the daughter couldn't understand that, I would just leave the relationship as a whole. Because at the end of the day, if I have to put up with that early on, and we're just in a dating and courting stage, what am I going to have to deal with if we actually start dating and we become serious and try to build something together? It's all about analyzing and understanding these things. And the same thing that I'm talking about is the very reason why some of your mom and dads are in unhappy marriages and relationships, but they can't leave because they don't have the mental fortitude. They're not willing to take 5 steps back and sleep in their car. And sometimes that's what it comes down to. And that's why when people say I have an ego, I'm confused by that, because like I said, like if I had to sleep in my car, I'll do it. I have no problem about that. I have no shame in that. If that's going to help me get from point A to point B to point C to get to where I need to get to, I'll be willing to do it. And to those of you listening to this video at the very end, I hope you develop this trait. Once I talk about how confidence comes from competence, which comes from experience, once you understand how to cut people that are no good for you, it's not a detriment. It's not a bad trait. It's actually a good trait. And that person may not be a bad person. Just like how I used the simp example from earlier. May not be a bad person, but if I know it's gonna go left and then I'm gonna be clowning you and laughing at you, I just can't be fake. So it's just best for me to part ways. And if you're young listening to this, it'll come. Hopefully it'll come. But I will tell you one thing. A lot of your parents, I'm talking about grown adults in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, they still haven't developed this trait. And they wonder why they're fat. They wonder why they're broke, and they wonder why they're still in unhappy marriages. But that'll be another topic for another day. I just want to say I appreciate all the support. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see or talk to you in the next video.